It's race number 25 of the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season right here on JRTV, and we're back short track racing under the lights at the Richmond International Raceway for the running of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. I'm Drew Cuscalonson in the booth, Trey Bardo. Trey, nearing the end of the season, just 8 races left to crown a champion, 7 after tonight, and we're here at the beautiful short track in Richmond, Virginia. This could be a track, Trey, where tempers could come out. If someone's wrong somewhere over the past few weeks, this could be where it comes out. And for the drivers in the championship fight, separated by just 14 points, they don't want to be back in that mess at all here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Joe, we have less than 10 races left to go here. And if this is where you make enemies, especially if you're one of the guys fighting for the championship, it could definitely come back to hurt you here with not much time left to recover from an incident that could have been 100% avoided. So we'll have to see if the drivers here tonight take their time, or if they just say, you know what, it's close to the end of the season, I got nothing else to lose.
And it's going to be interesting because the top 2 characters in this championship fight, Tim, Gary, Mathis, Wells, they don't start all that well here tonight. In fact, the front of the field, not really full of anyone fighting for the championship. Mathis Wells, who comes in second in points, 14 points back, starts way back in 17th. If you think that's bad, Tim Gary, the points leader, starts way back in 31st. Luckily for both of them, they're in the preferred inside lane. But Trey, what is it like? Short track, Richmond, the starts, they know everyone's going to be aggressive because they know that's when everyone is going to want to make the spots up. It's the easiest to make the spots up. But you're starting mid-pack, and for Tim Gary's case, you're starting back of the pack. What is it like on a start here, especially when you're fighting for a championship? You have to be cautious, but also try and move your way through the field at the same time.
Tim Gary's going to have to play a very, very cautious game because he's in the meat of the sandwich, right? You got guys in front of you who are up front here, and they're just kind of going to want to spread themselves out and really, play it safe. But the guys behind him are going to want to push because at the beginning of these races, Joe, it's all give, or it's all take, no give, right? So the restarts and starts here really matter. So I think Tim Gary's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive than he really wants to be. But if he can find himself a nice little spot here, gain a couple positions and then work his way up front, it's going to help him in the long run.
Yeah, we know Tim has been fast as of late. He and Mathis Wells have been basically connected at the hip, staying right next to each other, just a few positions apart for the last however many weeks. And here tonight, they're starting apart. We'll see if they come together throughout the race, or if Gary stays back. If Mathis Wells falls back, we'll have to see. And if the front 2 in the championship both kind of stumble here tonight, maybe Tim Gary doesn't move up, Mathis Wells falls back. Luke Rennie starting 11th, just outside the top 10. The 88 car pretty strong at Dover last time out. Here at Richmond has a good starting spot, so watch for Luke Rennie here. He's 147 points back, but if the front 2 in the championship kind of falter here tonight, Luke can pounce and maybe get within 100 points of that championship lead with just 7 races left after tonight. And I mentioned at the front of the field, drivers not really fighting for the championship. Well, it is a mixed bag. The front 4 starters here tonight have not yet won in the 2004 season. Laura Chung is on pole. She's never won in her Nextel Cup Series career. Riley Spurgeon, shocked that we've gone this far into the season without that 28 getting to victory lane, but Riley Spurgeon looking for that first win here tonight at Richmond. Bertrand Crown Jr., a one-time winner in the Nextel Cup Series, looking to join his teammate Hunter Reed as winners here in 2004. And Bibi Ruiz has never won in the Nextel Cup Series. Maybe tonight could be the night for him. And then behind them, Sebastian Kukulon on a hot streak of races, broken up inside the top 10 in points. Could he possibly try and keep climbing that points ladder? Jay Brandon looking for some sort of momentum after winning the first 2 races of the season and not winning since. Then you have Anthony Hernandez hasn't won yet this season. Conrad Evans hasn't won yet this season. Chris Jericho hasn't scored a top 10 since May. And then Tyler Belladonna on a hot streak as well, just like Sebastian Kukulon. So a big mix of drivers at the front of the field. We'll see how it plays out here tonight in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 as we'll go take a look at the track facts for the race here tonight at Richmond. It is a cloudy night and a cool night for racing, but that's just, it's a nice August night here in Richmond, Virginia. This is a 3/4 of a mile racetrack that's just over 1.2 kilometers. 80 lap race here tonight. That's going to be 60 miles. The fuel window is something big to watch for. 45 to 50 laps. We know pitting here, you could lose a lap or 2 depending on how far you are behind the race leader. We'll have to see how that plays into it, especially with tire fall off. There's not that much tire fall off early on in a run. We're expecting, from what we saw with practice yesterday, drivers to be fast for the first 10 laps and even maybe laying down personal bests after 10 laps. Then the tires start slowly falling off, and then it's kind of exponential, and it keeps falling and falling and falling. No one did a full fuel run, but after 30 laps we saw a second of fall off. Teams are expecting maybe another half second to a second of that over the course of a full fuel run. So I have to see how that plays out here tonight, how the tires wear. over the course of a full 45 to 50 lap run. There's 14 degrees of banking in the corners, 8 degrees on the front stretch, 2 degrees on the back stretch. And now we'll look at the 8 drivers that did not qualify here tonight. Henry Guo in the 0, Skylar Taylor the 09, David Dixon 39, Nathan Orman in the 41, Nathan Stapleton in the 42, Marcus Lerb, Tegan Fox, and Angel Gutierrez are the 8 drivers that are going home, did not qualify for the race here tonight at Richmond. The audience pick to win tonight, it was a close one between all 4 that we had for the audience to select, but they selected the man third in points, Luke Rainey, 35% of the vote there. Luke has turned around what has been a bad summer with a 6th place finish at Dover, and he's finished inside the top 10 the last 3 Richmond races, and has an average finish in those 3 races of 7.3. So we'll have to see how Luke can cope with the race here tonight at the Richmond International Raceway and see if he can try and get himself back into that championship fight. Now we'll go down track set, fire the cars up for the 25th race of the season, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field of 42 are pacing off pit road for a very quick 3/4 mile pace lap around the Richmond International Raceway. Trey, who's your pick to win here tonight at Richmond?
Oh, with the guy starting in 5th place over there, the 29 of Kukulon. I think it's about time that these guys get back into their winning ways, and he's in a great starting position to do it. And I think he's gonna find his way here in Richmond.
That's a hot streak of a driver right there. I think that's a good pick. And I'm going to go with his teammate Conrad Evans in the 31, looking for that first win of the season. RCR as a whole has been strong throughout the summer. I think they continue it with an RCR victory here tonight. The pace car is in, though. Lord Sean looking to win for Evernham Motorsports. Riley Spur to tour outside. Then you have Crown Jr. and Ruiz as they complete the top 4. Green flag in the air from the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. No time wasted for Roberto Crown Jr. Got the jump, got the run to the inside. 43 leads lap 1 from 3rd place on the grid. Laura Chung falls back to 2nd, and she's in a fight with Sebastian Kukulon. Here comes Hernandez to the bottom, and here comes Jericho and Luke Rainey. Everyone so far tiptoeing and making it work, just double file for the most part.
Yeah, you got to be very careful here. You don't want to get stuck up on the outside because, Joe, it's almost kind of like a Martinsville type of area to where, if you're stuck on that outside, you're not going to get back to the bottom until you can find a hole. And right now, you can see Luke Rainey found his hole. He's going to go down to the bottom now. The 29's now got pushed up top by the one of Hernandez. So we're going to have to see if Kukulon can find a space or if he's going to have to ride a little bit.
Hernandez up to 2nd place, trying to chase down race leader Crown Jr. Looks like Kukulon will get in line in 3rd. Chris Jericho is going to have to keep 4th for now. Luke Rainey up inside the top 5 from starting on 11th and going for another spot. Jericho missed turn 1 and 2. Rainey gets the run to the inside, 3 wide further back. They sort that out. Mathis Wells is nearly 3 wide middle. He is 3 wide middle. Thompson makes the move. This is not where Wells, 2nd in points, wants to be off turn 4.
He definitely does. It looks like he's going to possibly be able to get put back 2 wide, which is good. Oh, my goodness. We good? Nope. A little bit of contact. Are we good?
Play through turns 1
contact.
and 2. Oh, my goodness.
They got to settle this out here sooner or later, Joe.
3 wide, still Sproto clears through the middle. Lordstrom maybe backs off of that. But now, as Wells starts to slip backwards, remember he was kind of moving forward. Now he's on the outside dropping back. Tim Gary's not that far behind him in the number 10 car. Gary's still on the inside trying to move forward. Mathis Wells is trying to still find a way in line. They're still 3 wide, and there's nearly some contact even further up the road. These guys are all over the place.
I think there's more contact than there is passing, Joe. I don't know what's going on. These guys are very aggressive tonight.
Yes, they are. They know it's a short track, though. They know they can be a bit aggressive here tonight. Laura Chung trying to get back towards the front, going for 8th on Jay Ren. Remember, she started on pole, didn't get to lead early on in this race. Tim Gary, monitor his progress. He's kind of being blocked off here by some Hendrick cars of Strickland behind him. Jerry Chen nearly 3 wide in front of him as Eli Bright looks to shoot the middle between the 3 and the 48. Thinks better of that. There's Gary. He's up inside the top 20 tray, so he started 31st plus 11 through the first 7 laps for Gary. Is getting more, and Mathis Wells is just 2 cars in front of him.
Yeah, you definitely know Wells is getting that information here, and Wells has got to find his way to the inside line as there's almost contact between the 8 and the 3, but Wells has definitely got to find his way to the inside because Tim Gary is on a move right now. We'll have to see if maybe he can force himself in front of Tim. I don't think he's going to get there, though.
Wow, Tim Gary, power move to the inside. They start 14 positions apart. Contact between the 2 and the 24 off the corner. I think Chen got loose and got down to the 2 Zidell. Luckily, they saved and didn't make any more contact. But right there, Gary and Wells started 14 positions apart, and now Gary has passed Wells, and we're not even 10 laps complete.
Yeah, you definitely know Wells is in a little bit of an emergency mode right here, trying to get, down so he can get those positions back. But it's just one, you got a slower car, the 7 in front of him, and then you got no room on the bottom right here. Maybe right here he can try to force his way down to the inside. It looks like the 2 almost kind of gave him that room there.
Yeah, Zidell kind of just, and now it's kind of hurt Zidell. He's kind of up the racetrack there off turn 2, but Mathis Wells got down in line. Tim Gary still making moves to the front, getting by Lathan Strickland in the 48 right here, as still leading this race. It is Roberto Crown Jr., Keyshawn Richardson, the man on the move up to 3rd, and chasing down Hernandez for 2nd place. Tim Gary's on the move. He's just outside the top 10, going for some more on Tyler Belladonna. He's inside the top 15 now. That's 14th place for Tim Gary, so he is moving from that starting spot way back outside the top 30, and this is a great little battle right here. Thompson, Chung getting by Rando and Stout. That's 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th on the racetrack. Chung has 9th, and Thompson's going to take 10th away from Rando into turns 1 and 2. Keegan loves this place straight. 3 wins and swept the races here in 2000. Looking for some more success. He won the last time we were here in the Nextel Cup Series at Richmond.
Yeah, every driver's got their track that just, just for some reason, one reason or another, that they just absolutely do amazing here, and this is Keegan Thompson's track. I don't think you can argue any other place, but right now he's sitting just inside the top 10, and we'll just have to see if he can move his way up more or not, as these guys are crossing each other over, sending it in. They're doing everything they can to get this position. It's just going back and forth.
Hernandez had 2nd. Richardson took it. Then Hernandez took it back, and now Richardson took it back. That was all in the span of 2 laps. They just keep trading this position back and forth. Crown Jr. not really getting too far away, but is pulling away just a little bit. Now Richardson might finally get the spot and keep the spot in 2nd, although Hernandez is keeping him in sight in 3rd. Then Kukulan and Rainey bound for 4th and 5th. This is a big race for Luke Rainey right here. Both of his 2 drivers in front of him in points are back outside the top 10 as they run. So Luke trying to be aggressive, get further up inside the top 5 right here. That's for 4th. Behind them, Chris Jericho looking for his first top 10, as mentioned, since May early this season. It was the last time he had one was at a short track, so maybe he can get back to some success here tonight. Currently in 6th. Then you have DeLello up to 7th, winner the last time out at Dover, and he's having a good run. He started mid-pack, he's moving up. Then you have Sprotube 8th, Thompson now 9th, Chung is in 10th. Then you have Rando, and there's Tim Gary. He's gotten in front of Belladonna, but hasn't gotten much further, as Eli Brent, the 8, looks pretty strong. I think he's actually passed Tim and starting to move his way back forward, get by Lathan Strickland and Eli Bright. DI's been good here. A few years ago, you had Lathan Strickland win here, you had Anthony Hernandez win here. Eli's never won here. It looks like that number 8 car pretty strong right now, trying to join his teammate Hernandez at the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see what happens here as Tim got the pass done on the 48, as this 20 is still, I don't know if he's struggling, if he's passing cars, or if he's just kind of staying the same, but does not seem like the 20 is up to Wells' standard, and we'll have to see if he can maybe gain another spot or 2 as, am I seeing this right?
Yeah, Lathan Strickland's trying to pass Tim Gary back, but can't do it. The 10 got great drive, but Strickland is sending it deep into the corners. It's kind of hurting his drive up. Was that a bump there up the racetrack?
It might have been. It kind of looked like it was, wasn't it? All of a sudden, Tim almost looked like he just went straight up the hill. I don't know if maybe Lathan was just playing with the air a little bit, or if you got it into him a little bit, but right now it's going to hurt Tim because he's stuck on the outside again.
Yeah, so now Tim's going to start falling back, and Mathis Wells sees that in front. He's smelling blood in the water now. Wells is trying to get theirs. Meanwhile, at the front, Richardson is cutting into the lead. That 99 is fast here tonight. He's all over Crown Jr., looking to the inside off turn 2, a little bit loose off the corner. Crown holds the spot for now, but Richardson is there, and Trey, it's only a matter of time before that 99 makes the pass and starts maybe pulling away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, 100%. You got to expect it to happen here within a couple of laps. Either this 99 is going to send it into a corner, or he's going to use that bumper a little bit, but oh my goodness, look at the drive off.
That's a good race car right there. Richardson has been strong this season in terms of getting to victory lane. He won the 2 Pennsylvania races. He won at Nazareth, and then he won at Pocono. He's looking to become, Trey, if you can believe it, we're 25th race. He's looking to become the first driver to win 3 races this season.
That's crazy to think, right? I mean, you think about our last season, we normally have one or two guys that like win 4 or 5 races a year, but now we're, what'd you say, 8 races left in the season, and we have yet to have someone win 3?
Yep. And now Richardson, though, he gets to the lead, and maybe he could start pulling away that 99 very strong here tonight. He's come from a little bit further back on the grid to now lead the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. Crown Jr. sells into second for now. Then you have Fernandez in third, Luke Rainey fourth, Kukulon fifth. Sixth place is Chris Jericho. The battle for seventh is on. DeLello getting back by Riley Spurgeon. That brings Keegan Thompson right to the thick of the battle from ninth place. Lord Chung just hanging tough in 10th. Then you have Stout in 11th, Evans in 12th, Eli Bright in 13th. Those two made contact here in the past. And don't look now, Trey. The two drivers fighting for the championship are right together, 19th and 20th. Just one spot separates them. Matthews Wells as they run, gaining just a measly 3 points over Tim Gary.
Yeah, I mean, the only one like in this battle right now is that 80 to Luke Rainey, because these two do not, they want to be battling each other, but they want to do it inside the top 10, right? So doing it out here is either going to, heat this rivalry up by making them upset, like this, Tim Gary forcing himself to the inside of the 20, or I don't know. It's going to be strange to see, but right now these guys are, I don't know if they're having fun battling each other.
Yeah, you had mentioned, what was it, last race at Dover where they started next to each other to ride in the truck, for pre-race introductions. I said, is it a little awkward? He said, well, not unless they keep fighting like they have been. Well, Trey, they're fighting very aggressively here tonight at Richmond. Tim Gary, Matthews Wells trading positions back and forth. Gary gets back by the number 20 car to move his way up to 19th, but Wells is getting right to the bumper again. He's not letting Gary keep that 19th spot without a fight.
No, and I mean, at this point, right, you can't, because every point matters, and right now, the only guy you're worried about if you're Wells is his 10 car, so you're going to do everything you can to either stay with him or pass him back, but you don't want to use up your stuff, because with pit stops still having to come, if you use it up right now, you're going to hurt yourself before pit stops happen, so we're going to have to see what happens, but this 20 isn't letting him get too far away.
Well, Jerry, something fascinating to watch out for is we're nearing 30 laps into this race. We're seeing about a second of fall off right now as we expected. However, the times are going to keep falling and falling and falling. When we get within the window of pit stops, what do these two do? They're right on each other's bumper. If one undercuts the other by just a lap, they could pull away from them, and maybe that other driver never sees them again. So the possibility is there for something crazy to happen in terms of strategy calls here at Richmond, especially for these two fighting for the championship. If Wells pits one lap sooner than Tim Gary, he could leap him and maybe even leap 5 other drivers and just never see Tim Gary again for the rest of the night.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to, you already know that these guys are already talking over strategy, even if it is, another 10, 20 laps before pit stops even are thought about, but they're always trying to think of some sort of plan, and right now Tim Gary's trying to get past his 17 of Belladonna, and the 20 is just slowly watching him pull away, so Wells is going to have to shoot for something big here.
Speaking of pulling away, Keyshawn Richardson is doing that in the race lead. He got to it just a few laps ago, and since then he's pulled up to a 1 1/3 second gap over Roberto Crown Jr. in second place. Crown's teammate Hunter Reed is looking for a spot on Jay Brando. Big dive into the corner. That's for 15th place on Jay Brando. So Hunter Reed going well here at Richmond, just like his teammate Crown Jr. up inside the top 2 positions. There's Reed, he's got the spot. Meanwhile, further up, Eli Bright's gotten to 12th. He's gotten by Conrad Evans. His next sight is on Laura Chung as Kukulon continues to fade back in this longer green flag run. He dropped to 6th as Jericho got by him, and now he's dropped to 7th as DeLello gets to 6th around him. So the 29 struggling on the longer run trade. Looks like it might be drive off because that 28 really kind of gained on that straightaway. I think that 29 is just struggling getting off the corner.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the 29 is 50% there, but he's losing the other 50%, so we'll have to see if they can make some sort of adjustment right now, but this 28 is absolutely making up time on corner entry, but again, losing it on the straights.
He's hounding that number 29 car as Richardson continues to pull away, now 1.8 seconds up on his nearest competitor, Roberto Crown Jr. Kukulon slides a little bit wide off turn 2, gets a slight run down the straightaway. Sprint has to fall back in line for now. Can't make the pass work. It looked like Sarah Kirchner was looking for a pass further back on Jay Brando, but can't get to the inside. That's the hard thing, especially here at Richmond when you get laps on your tires. This is drivers have called it. It's hard to get the power down on corner exit, especially if you're having to turn the car. So we're seeing that right now where the tires are wearing out. It's getting a little bit harder. It's possible still to make passes. It's just getting harder. You need to have a good race car to make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. And if that's the weird thing about this place, right? If you're losing a little bit of the car, it's gonna hurt you. Even if it's a small section of the track, right? Just corner exit, right? That could be all. But that's the part that's really gonna hinder your performance here. So you got to be all 100% on. As you can see, Keegan Thompson's got put to the outside. Now he's getting passed by 2 cars, and I mean, he was moving forward, but now Joe, he's gonna move a little bit back.
Yep, he was 9th. Stout got that spot, and then allowed Chung to get the spot, and then allowed Eli Bright to get the spot. So in the span of a lap or two, Thompson has gone from 9th to now 12th place as Eli Bright gets 11th from him. So that number 8 continuing his charge through the field. Thompson starting to fade back as we get really long into the green flag run as we're nearing the midway point of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Still Richardson leading the way. Crown Jr. still fading back. These two still close together. Kukulon fending off Riley Spurgeon for now. Just up the road in front of them, Luke Rainey is going to have to try and fend off Jericho and DeLello's, the 18 to 16. Look a little bit faster at this stage of the race, and it's good to see Jericho right now up inside the top 5. Don't want to jinx him because pit road has kind of been his nemesis at points throughout his career, and his pit crew has been kind of inconsistent. So we'll just have to see how pit road plays out for him. But right now, definitely a strongest race since May, currently up inside the top 5.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something this team needs because it's been a while since we got to say Jericho up inside the top 5, and you know that he's been feeling it, his team's been feeling it, and it sucks whenever, a team goes into a wall like this because you just lose all motivation, all, confidence in yourself. And then you have that one good race, and then finally you're back like, hey, look, we're doing it again. It's almost like golf, Joe. Have you ever been golfing before?
Never been golfing, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's just like that spark clicks. Then all of a sudden you're back to your old ways and the ways you're used to being. As Kukulon is starting to fade back, the Rasbridge has gotten around him, and now Jordan Stout's getting around him as well. So the 29 really falling off at this stage in the race on this longer green flag run. As Richardson's lead, Trey, it keeps going up. It's now 3 seconds up over this battle for second. Crown Jr. and Anthony Hernandez, and the 99 is just gone.
Well, we mentioned it. We know that we said that these starts were important, and we saw on the start that 43 was able to get out with what it was about a second and a half maybe lead, and then all of a sudden that 99 reeled him and passed him. What now? He's doubled the lead that the 43 once had.
Yeah, and it keeps going up and up lap after lap, but pit stops are looming around the corner. These guys still battling. Further back, Gary's still that same distance in front of Mathis Wells, but the pit window's open now. These drivers can make it from here on fuel and tires. Luke Rennie's going to be pitting early in the 88. The 99 came in, so the 43. So Richardson not letting anyone undercut him. Mathis Wells is coming in before Tim Gary.
There we go, Joe. We talked about it. What strategy was Wells going to pull? He's going to try to go for the undercut here. I think that's a smart decision if you're Wells, right? What else do you have to lose at this point? You're right behind the guy you're battling for the championship. You're going to try to undercut him here, and you know what? If you lose a couple positions by the end of it, then you know what? At least you can say you tried and you can learn from it.
So the top 2 came in. Some others are still staying out, but the 1 is now in the 28. The 6 stay out. They take over the race lead. So a lot of different strategy calls here. Some guys maybe hoping for a caution to come out, trap these guys a lap or 2 down. Luke Rainey a little bit slower leaving. He almost got to the 1 of Hernandez.
No. I think there was a little bit of contact there, but it wasn't as bad as it possibly could have been. These guys got to be careful here.
There's Mathis Wells trying to leave in a timely manner. He gets out of the way. Tim Gary stayed out another lap, so he's going for a really big overcut, trying to get the tires on and just he might have a little damage now.
It definitely looks like there's a little bit of left front damage there, doesn't it, Joe? It looks like that fender's kicked in a little bit.
We'll have to see if they want to repair it on pit road or if they keep it out there. The 10 getting 4 tires on the championship leader. Came in 2 laps after his championship rival, Mathis Wells, in the number 20. And Trey, they're going to keep him there to repair some of that damage. And now he's going to go away but lose some time because of it.
It hurts to see as a Tim Gary fan, but Joe, if that fender was rubbing on the tire, you can't risk a tire, puncturing at a place like this, because if you lose a tire here, Joe, you're ultimately most likely going to go into that wall. So it was probably a smart move on their part, but it's going to hurt them a little bit.
And now with everything cycling out, Keyshawn Richardson is going to be the new race leader as Hunter Reed finally pits. The 99 gets down. Look at all these guys he's putting a lap down because of how early he came in and got the tires on. There's so much fall off here. The race leader, who was already pulling away and had a big lead. Oh my goodness.
I don't know how I don't know if you could have gotten more perfect timing because, Joe, if you move that one way or another, you're either spinning the 99 or you're getting spun by the 97.
But now look at this. The 99 came in so soon. He had a great pit stop. He has a 4-second gap over Roberto Crown Jr. in the 43 car. DeLello is 6 3/4 seconds back. I mean, look at all these cars that he's put a lap down or even more. So there's Crown. Then you have to go all the way back here. Luke Rennie's passing DeLello for third. That's big there. Then you have DeLello, then Jericho. Riley's to be lap right. There's Stout, there's Kukulan, there's Thompson. That's the top 10, but they're separated by 11 seconds. Then you have Belladonna, there's Evans, there's Wells. He's right now in 13th place as they run. Ahmed Wall is there, Jerry Chen, Sarah Kirchner, there's Jacob Miller, Lathan Strickland, Hunter Reed. There's Laura Chung. She's dropped on pit road. So is the one of Hernandez, staying out longer. He's down in 22nd. But Tim Gary is now down in 24th after the slightly longer pit stop. However, Trey, he has a little bit fresher tires for him to use to his advantage.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see how all this, develops out for Tim Gary here, because he definitely was at 10 positions, give or take. Were they about 13th coming in?
They were they were around 20th. I think Gary's 18th, 19th, so he's only lost about 5 positions. But the big thing is that Matt as well has gained about 5 positions as well.
Yeah, so it'll be curious to see what Tim Gary can do here with a little bit of fresher tires near the end of this race, because I think around then's really gonna be where they kick in here. But right now, I think the only thing Wells is worried about is making up as many positions as he can.
But look at the cars that, because the 99 came in so soon, he's put a lap down. Jay Brando, his teammate's a lap down. Justin Atkins is a lap down. Jude Martinelli's a lap down. So is Joe Staubs. Matthew Burnett is a lap down. He's been strong here at Richmond in the past. Evan Hunter is a lap down. Just a dismal night for that number 36 and for MB2 as a whole as they run. Baby Rua started inside the top 5. He's a lap down, that number 7 car. So some big names have now fallen off the lead lap. Ryan Wilson off the lead lap as the 99 continues to put guys a lap down and keep going and going and going. While Mathis Wells will now be in the championship lead as they run in 13th. Tim Gary trying to get whatever spots he can for the end of this race. But once again, as you mentioned, Trey, the tires right now, they're all kind of equalized, because we had mentioned the first 10 laps you can keep running fast lap, fast lap, fast lap. It's really once you get 15, 20, 30 laps on the tires, that's where they start showing some difference. So for Tim Gary, it's not going to be a difference right now in terms of the tires. It's going to be, 10, 15 laps from now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's when it's really going to matter here. So we're going to have to see what he can do. But right now, everyone's just kind of riding back in line as Luke Rainey's getting passed by the 16 here. He's got a... he doesn't really have that much to worry about. He's up in third. Now he's going to be fourth with his the guys that he's battling with in 13th and 21st. So right now, Luke Rainey's just kind of in, survival mode in terms of make sure you manage your tires here, finish inside the top 5, and you're going to make a big, nice points, gain on everyone else.
Chris Jericho looking for 4th on that number 88 of Luke Rennie. He's going to take it away, so move the 18 up another spot. Luke Rennie either not all that good in this run, or maybe saving his tires for a longer run, kind of march towards the front of the field. It could be that, or it could just be the 88 not as strong as those guys around him. Jericho looks very strong. Remember, he came in a little bit later, so he has a little bit fresher tires. Maybe now it's starting to play a benefit, because here he is all over the back of Zachary DeLello. This is for 3rd place as they run. This is 7 seconds behind the race leader, but he's actually cut 2/10 off that race lead that Richardson has. Obviously, 99 near traffic. The 18 looks strong. He's going to pass DeLello for 3rd and maybe start to pull away.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to have to see what this 18 can do. It seems like this might be a track that they might have to circle from now on, because it seems like after the very big slump that they've been having all season, they've turned something around here and are moving forward. So we'll have to see what they can do. Essentially, they only have, one guy that they might be able to catch and pass, and that's 43, and he's still, 2 seconds up?
Yep, 2 seconds in front of Chris Jericho. The only thing you could think of with the 99 is if he gets caught in really thick traffic, gets put to the outside, something like that. Right now, look at this. He's marched through all those guys, so even though the 18's gaining about 2/10 a lap, the 18 still has to pass all those cars that Richardson has put a lap down in. That's a whole chunk of cars back there that are all battling for position, as Richardson is now on Samet Oskin to try and put the 81 a lap down. Oskin started last in this race, but has moved up nicely. He's up in 28th right now, gain of 14 positions, and still trying to keep on going. There's more cars in front of him. John Barrymore hasn't made a race in a while. Good to see him running pretty strongly in that 14, currently up inside the top 30 and 27th.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing to look down right now. He's still on the lead lap, and he might be able to see the leader coming, but that just means that, you know, you're running strong if you're one of the last guys the leader's going to see before he puts a lap down.
Tim Gary Trey is struggling. He was 24th, now he's 25th. So he's lost another spot, and he might lose another because Drew Webb is coming. I have to think, you know, they probably pulled that fender a little bit, but is that damage that he got possibly affecting him? Maybe, you know, he ran into someone coming onto pit road or something like that, but it looks like that damage might just be affecting him, maybe making that car push a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is. It has to be hindering the car. I mean, before the pit stops, Tim Gary wasn't running all that well, but it wasn't as bad as this. And then we saw the damage. We saw them have to take a second or two to try to pull that fender out, and then he's still just struggling even more now. So it's definitely got to be doing something. I don't see any smoke, so I mean that's the plus side, right? So you know it's not hurting the tire any, but it's definitely hurting the aerodynamics of the car one way or another.
And as they run, Matheus Wells will be gaining roughly about 40 points on Tim Gary, and Gary entered with just a 14-point advantage. So it's going to go the other way once again, possibly as they run, to where Matheus Wells gains in points and starts to maybe pull away to about a 25-30 point advantage, and Gary's still kind of struggling. The 22 looks like he's struggling about as bad as the 10 is, so maybe he can try and pass Nathan Baird for the end of this race, but John Barrymore's catching him as well. Drew Webb looks pretty strong in this number 84 car as he's making a pass right there on the 22 of Nathan Baird for another spot. So the 84 starting to move up on this long green flag run with just 14 laps to go at the line for him. Meanwhile, just a few seconds behind them, it's Keyshawn Richardson, still has that 4.5 second gap, but Crown Jr. in second. Trey, he's gonna have to start looking in the mirror because Chris Jericho is gaining in the 18, and Jericho's passing the one car that was between them, and now he has the sights set just a second up the road to Crown Jr. This could be a second place result for Jericho in the cards.
Which is what this team needs again, and we'll have to see if he can move them up right now. But then again, once he passes that 43, I think that 99 is just too far of a reach, and that's also including getting past all those lap cars. So this race isn't over yet, but it's some stuff developing here. I mean, look at that train of lap cars.
Yeah, that is a mess of lap cars. As Riley Spurgeon passed his teammate Luke Rennie for 5th place. So Riley Spurgeon's starting to come alive. He has DeLello in his sights, and who knows if Crown Jr. keeps falling off. He has that 43 in his sights as well. So 28 car looking strong in this long run. Jordan Stout looking strong all over Eli Bright. That's for 7th place. So once again, Eli with a very solid run here tonight. Stout not letting him get away, trying to get that spot from him as they enter into turns 1 and 2. At the line, there's just going to be 10 laps to go at Richardson, pulling away nearly a 5-second gap over the rest of his competition. Great battle for 7th going on. Stout is all over Eli Bright, all over the back bumper. Can't get to the inside, though. He's got to wait for another lap, another turn, another opportunity to try and make it work.
Yeah, it's this is all about, you know, really setting up your pass, and sometimes it might even take a lap or two to really, you know, set up something to have it work. And right now the 6th is going to send it. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact there on corner entry.
That was close between those two. As Stout gets the spot, he gets 7th from Eli Bright, who maybe said, all right, just take it, don't wreck me for it. And Eli's going to fall back to 8th for his car number, trying to keep that spot inside the top 10. Meanwhile, Ryan Sprinter was really close down to Ludlow all over the back bumper. That's for 4th place, so there's still battling going on all over this 3/4-mile racetrack. And even further up the road, Jericho's closed in on Crown Jr. to within half a second of that number 43 as Crown starts to catch even more lap traffic with their 5 and 5.5 seconds back of Keyshawn Richardson, who needs something catastrophic to happen to not win this race as of now.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, right now we're kind of seeing the tires come into effect right now. Some drivers who save their stuff more are making moves up towards the front, while the other ones are starting to fall off a little bit here. This 18 is finally catching this 43, but it could be to the help of some lap cars here. I mean, Joe, look at this. This is a whole pack. It's like these guys are super speedway racing.
And you have to remember, these guys are battling for position as well. So every spot they get is more points for them. And, you know, they're in their own points fights, you know. So they're going to be fighting aggressively. But now these guys are on the back bumper of each other. And Crown Jr. has to be careful here because Jericho's coming fast and all over the back of Crown off turn number 2. Does he make the pass into turn 3 this lap? He's going to stay close and tucked up. Look to the inside through the middle of the corner. Crown not giving him the room. 5 laps to go at Richmond. Richardson still leads this race by over 5 seconds. Jericho and Crown Jr. is the big fight, and if Jericho doesn't hurry up and pass this 43, Riley Spurgeon will be in there in the 28 car.
Oh, one way to move him, it might be manually, and I don't know if there's a little bit of contact there, but that 43 shot up the track on corner exit there, so He finally got the job done, though, Joe, but now he sees, 10 other cars in front of him, and this 28 is on an absolute mission right now, moving up to the front. So Jericho might have some company here within the next lap or two.
Riley Spur took third place easily over Richard Crown Jr. That 43 starting to fade on this long green flag run. Meanwhile, Mathis Wells, he's not under any threat. He's not really making any impressions as well. Right now in 13th, that's where he should stay as long as everything kind of goes his way. Tim Gary's gotten by Nathan Baird, and he's gotten by Laura Chung as well. So Tim Gary's up to 24th place. He's gained some spots from where we last saw him. It looks like that's going to be his final finishing position. That's about 11 spots between them, which is about 33 points. So as it stands right now, it's going to be about a 19-point advantage, 19-20 point advantage in favor of Mathis Wells leaving this race. But still 2 laps to go. Richardson pulls away 5.5 seconds over Chris Jericho, 6 seconds over Riley Spurtube. Here we come to the white flag. He's lapped all the way up to 26th position. Martinelli trying to get his lap back, but there's 1 lap to go for Richardson in Richmond, looking to win his 3rd race of the season, become the first driver to win more than 2 races this season off turn 2. He doesn't have to try and catch that number 22 car. He's just fine where he is. Up the back straightaway, winner at Nazareth in dominating fashion. Winner at Pocono off of pit strategy. Winner tonight in dominating fashion. Keyshawn Richardson wins the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. 2nd place is a long ways back, but it goes to Jericho. Spurtube keeps 3rd. Luke Rennie keeps a spot inside the top 10. Where is Mathis Wells? He's just there behind the 17. And Tim Gary, the championship leader entering the night, is going to finish right there behind Drew Webb in front of Laura Chung. So it's not the best night for the front team in the championship. But now, Trey, another flip in the points. Mathis Wells is back to the championship lead. But this man, Keyshawn Richardson, is trying to he hasn't been all that consistent this season. But if he had the consistency, he'd be in that championship fight because he's got the most wins this season now.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Joe, it seems like what it always comes down to, right, is consistency is key. And I mean, even though he hasn't been that consistent, I don't think you can argue that he's been an absolute dominant driver whenever his car is on, Joe. It is on because he won by, how much was it tonight?
It was over 5.5 seconds. Keyshawn Richardson found victory lane as they all fought for second behind. That was really the only battle for position we saw tonight. Richardson got the lead early on, never surrendered it. He's the winner of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 here from Richmond. About 5.25 seconds back to Chris Jericho in 2nd. Riley Spurtube 5.5 seconds back in 3rd. Roberto Crown Jr., very solid night. 4th place, hung on to the top 5 all night long. And Zachary DeLello came from mid-pack, backs up that win with another top 5 finish. Roush Racing very strong here tonight. 3 cars inside the top 10 at the finish with Luke Rainey. Comes in 3rd in points, 147 points back. He'll gain a little bit of that, get closer to within 100 points. He's right now, he finishes in 6th. Jordan Stout 7th, Eli Bright 8th. Keegan Thompson with a very solid night in 9th. Top 10 for Sebastian Kugelon continues that string of very strong races. Conrad Evans continuing RCR's kind of string of very solid races in 11th. Tyler Belladonna in 12th. Mathis Wells, the new championship points leader, finishes in 13th. If Ahmed Wall, Justin Zidell came from way down in the starting grid to get 15th. Jerry Chen, Sarah Kirchner, Lathan Strickland, Jacob Miller, Hunter Reed all get top 20s. And then you look down, you see there's where Tim Gary finished in 24th position. One of the last cars on the lead lap. It could have been worse with that damage, but it definitely could have been a lot better if he didn't have that damage on the race car. Who knows if he could have tried to close back in on Mathis Wells. But he'll lose the points lead, but not by much. He's still within striking distance of Mathis Wells heading into the final 7 races of the season. 26 cars on the lead lap. Some of them, like Martinelli, tried to get back on the lead lap. Justin Atkins and a lot of big names down here were a lap down. You see Jay Brando down here a lap down. Evan Hunter was a lap down. Max Davis fell behind Pre-McShane. That's big because they're still battling for that top 35 position in owners' points, and Davis will finish behind McShane once again. Bibi Ruiz started well here tonight. He didn't finish well. Ryan Wilson fell off the lead lap and just dropped down to 40th. And then the last 2 cars, Colin Teague and Zachary Fitzwater Sr., last cars to finish. No cars retired here tonight. It was a caution-free race from the Richmond International Raceway. We now take a look at the points. 7 races left. Mathis Wells back on top. Tim Gary, though, Trey, close enough to keep it keep it a fight. This is one heck of a battle as we get down to these final few races this season.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna go in favor for, because it seems like once one driver, has a bad night, the other one has a good one, then it automatically flips the next race, right? So I don't know who you really vote for here, but I think these drivers are gonna go all the way down to the very last race of the season.
They just keep shredding it back and forth. It's a flip-flop, so we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe next time out on JRTV, for the Southern 500 at the Darlington Raceway. Maybe Gary gets the points lead back for Matt as well. Who knows? Darlington, though, we've seen as of late has been a chaotic race. We've seen some definitely championship impacting moments at this racetrack over the last few seasons, championship defining moments as well. So we'll have to see for the front team of the championship, still in this gridlock in terms of a points battle. How's it going to play out for Matt as well as Tim Gary? Can Luke Rainey and some of the others try and close in? We're going to find out next time out on JRTV from the Darlington Raceway. Tonight, though, it's all about Keyshawn Richardson. The 99 team is the first team to win 3 races in the 2004 season, with now wins at Nazareth, Pocono, and Richmond. Congratulations to he and Roush Racing on a dominating night from Richmond. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rakowski, so long from the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond, but tune in next Sunday to JRTV for the Southern 500, one of the biggest races of the season at Darlington.